Welcome to my YouTube channel, Divine Soul Guidance. My name is April. Let's have a heart-to-heart. Have you ever known someone who refused to apologize, who would never own up to their mistakes, or who continuously repeated the same hurtful patterns and behaviors without taking the initiative to self-reflect on the consequences of their actions or words? In these instances, we may suffer deep internal damage, a breakdown of trust and emotional safety that leaves us feeling unsafe, disrespected, and unloved. A rupture in the connection that dissolves any sense of intimacy or closeness we once felt for that person. After someone you love hurts you without taking responsibility for their actions, your heart simply does not want to open to them the way it once did. You remain guarded, closed off, and hesitant to give them another chance. You begin to question that person's feelings and intentions toward you. You question whether or not your feelings and your heart are safe with them. Finally, you question whether or not you want to continue sharing your time, energy, and love with someone who lacks the emotional maturity and self-awareness it takes to sustain a healthy relationship. Today, we are going to talk about the importance of accountability in our relationships, both with others and with ourselves, and how it not only impacts the quality and duration of the relationship, but also how it impacts our healing and our well-being. Let's dive in. To begin, intimacy and connection develop over time through trust in our personal relationships, including those with family, friends, romantic partners, and coworkers. When someone is consistent in showing their care, attention, and respect, when they follow through on their word, when they show up as emotionally stable and safe, and when they hold our fears and insecurities with care, trust is formed naturally. Likewise, we develop trust with someone when they show us that our feelings and our concerns matter to them. They listen attentively and take action when something they've done causes hurt. They do not leave it up to us to repair the damage they've caused or to try to reform the connection they've broken. Rather, they self-reflect on how their actions have impacted us, even if it was not their intent to cause harm, and then they work to self-correct. They work to build a bridge back to us, allowing safe passage back into the connection. Rather than getting defensive or dismissing our feelings, an emotionally safe and mature person will listen to understand. They will stay open with curiosity to our feelings and our perspective, without shutting down or running from uncomfortable conversations. They will want to know what they can do to make us feel better or to avoid hurting us in the future. And they will demonstrate to us through changed behavior that they care about us and want to preserve the connection. This is the foundation of any healthy relationship. But it needs to start with us first, and here is why. Our ability to take accountability in our relationship with others begins with our ability to be accountable to ourselves. It is the key foundation to self-awareness and to a growth mindset. If we can't own our mistakes, and if we don't have the self-awareness to recognize where we've gone wrong, we will find ourselves stuck in a constant loop of repeating patterns and self-sabotaging behaviors. For how can we make any lasting change if we don't have the self-awareness and self-discipline to do so? Creating lasting change and making better decisions in our relationships requires holding ourselves accountable. For instance, if we commit to giving up alcohol, but continue to spend time with friends who only want to drink, we are setting ourselves up for failure. This resistance prevents us from making the necessary and uncomfortable changes to break the pattern or stop the behavior. Or let's say, for example, we want to become a better listener, but we constantly have our phone out when someone is trying to talk to us. We are not practicing the self-discipline required to change our behavior. Because becoming a better listener requires us to be fully present. And being fully present means that we cut off all distractions and resist any temptation to engage in behaviors that interfere with our ability to listen and be attentive. It requires us to hold ourselves accountable to acting in newer, more conscious ways. Someone who does not hold themselves accountable to what they say or do most definitely will not be accountable to their partner, family member, or colleague. They will most likely struggle to follow through with changes when others bring a problem to their attention. Additionally, someone who cannot be fully honest with themselves about how their actions negatively impact others cannot fully show up for someone else in a relationship either. If they deceive themselves, they will deceive others. If they let themselves down, they will let others down. If they break promises to themselves, they will break promises to others. You see the correlation? This is why accountability starts first with the relationship that we have with ourselves, because how we relate to ourselves is how we will relate to others. If we love ourselves, if we are honest with ourselves, if we take care of ourselves, if we practice presence and self-discipline, if we take responsibility for our actions, our interpersonal relationships will reflect this. As a result, they will be healthier and more harmonious. If, however, we run from ourselves, if we lie to ourselves, if we avoid holding ourselves accountable, if we fail to make changes we need to make, then our relationships with others will suffer. Let's take a look at how this might happen. Number 1, when we fail to take accountability, we break trust with others and with ourselves. Failing to follow through on our commitments sends a message to both ourselves and to others that we are not reliable. This can impact trust in various relationships, such as with our children, our partners, our coworkers, or anyone else. When we fail to do what we said, it creates a breach of trust because the other person relied on our word. Their sense of security is disrupted as they had expected our assistance or support, only to have the rug pulled out from under them. Suddenly, they may realize that we are not the person they thought we were. This not only breaks trust in the relationship, but it also shatters that person's sense of safety. To go a little further, if we hurt someone we love and we don't own up to our mistake, perhaps we blame our mistake on them or on outside circumstances. Perhaps we make excuses or justify our actions, or perhaps we simply don't demonstrate empathy. This is another form of breaking trust. The people we love need to know that we care about them. They need to know that their feelings and their well-being matters to us and that we are going to protect them. When we hurt someone and then deny it or fail to own up to it, we are essentially communicating to that person that they cannot trust us with their emotions or their well-being. This sends the message that their feelings are unimportant to us, or that we do not genuinely care about them as we claim to. Ultimately, it conveys the likelihood of causing them further hurt in the future. We haven't demonstrated our ability to self-reflect, self-correct, and take responsibility for our actions. Instead, if we own our mistakes and verbally state what it is we did wrong and what it is we could have done better, we are helping to repair the damage that was done, and we are helping to restore trust. The person sees that we care about their feelings and we are trying to make our wrongs right. Furthermore, if we really want to demonstrate accountability, we would take repair a step further. We would tell the person how we plan to correct our behavior and what to expect if we don't. This is how we can restore trust in a relationship. Number 2, when we fail to take accountability, we destroy the emotional safety of a relationship. When two people enter into a relationship of any kind, they are forming an agreement. The agreement is that each person is working to develop a connection and a sense of intimacy with the other person. You say to that person, "I love you and care about you, therefore I'm going to do my best to show you that I care about you." I will try to meet your needs, and I will be careful with your heart. Well, how exactly do we do that? How do we show others that we care about them and want to protect their heart? We listen, we perform acts of service, we display affection and physical touch, we try to get to know them and show an interest in their activities and endeavors. We protect them, both emotionally and physically. We try to support them. We are open and honest with them. We demonstrate patience and understanding. And finally, we act in a way that has their interests and their well-being in mind. Because healthy connections demonstrate to our loved ones that they are seen, heard, and cared about. These actions help to create a sense of emotional safety in a relationship. If, however, we act in a way that does not have the person's best interests in mind, if we are greedy, selfish, unkind, impatient, dishonest, inattentive, unaffectionate, or unfaithful, then we send the message that their feelings and their well-being are not important to us, that they are not important to us. This can rupture our connection with them and prevent them from feeling emotionally secure in the relationship. Once a person feels emotionally unsafe in a connection, it is very difficult to repair. They will become more detached, less trusting, and less vulnerable with the other person. This leads to a breakdown of the relationship, which, if compounded over time, can destroy it. Number 3, our ability to take accountability demonstrates our level of humility and self-awareness. When we are humble enough to own our mistakes, admit our faults, and confess our wrongdoings with those we love, this opens the door for vulnerability and repair, two essential elements of maintaining an intimate connection with someone. Individuals who are centered in their heart rather than in their ego are comfortable admitting their mistakes. They understand that human nature can lead us to careless actions or unknowingly causing harm to others. They acknowledge that despite having good intentions, their delivery or perception may be lacking. Lastly, they acknowledge their capacity for continuous learning and improvement. In confessing to another how we have let them down or hurt them, we are sending the message that we not only possess self-awareness, but also that we care about the integrity of the relationship and are willing to make changes that might salvage it. Maintaining the connection is more important than being right. Those who operate from pride and ego, however, will rarely admit that they are wrong. They will rarely apologize or humble themselves enough to take responsibility. Their lack of humility, empathy, and self-awareness makes being in a connection with them difficult, even dangerous in some cases, because it leads to a breakdown of trust and safety. When we are able to humble ourselves and take accountability, our loved ones feel safer with us. We are not in competition with them. We are not aggressive or arrogant. Rather, we are soft, safe, and compassionate. We show them God's love and grace and put ourselves on their level. Not more righteous, not smarter, not better at debating, but human, like them. We show them that we are human and capable of making mistakes. Human and capable of understanding and forgiving. Human and capable of self-reflection and self-correction. How beautiful is it to be in a relationship with someone like that? Someone who has the grace to own their mistakes and apologize. Someone who has the grace to meet you in the middle. It takes the pressure off us to over-explain our feelings, provide evidence of why their behavior was hurtful, or fight to get them to see our perspective, which is exhausting. People who take accountability are the kind of people who make us feel safe, seen, and understood. And as a result, we are more likely to want to maintain a lasting connection with them. In conclusion, People who demonstrate humility and self-awareness in the form of taking responsibility for their actions are the ones who are most likely to experience healthy and harmonious relationships. They are more likely to be able to repair conflict and to rebuild trust with their loved ones than those who refuse to own their mistakes. If each of us would take this type of ownership for ourselves, our relationships and our world would be more peaceful and fulfilling. The key is that we must start with radical responsibility for ourselves first. Thank you for listening to this message. If it resonated with you, I encourage you to leave a comment below or share with somebody you know. Or if you'd like to explore this topic more deeply or learn how to hold yourself and others more accountable, feel free to reach out to me via email or book a session with me through my website, which is linked below. Until next time, take care and be blessed. Much love.